Sir John A. Macdonald, of course, I mean, he had the lucky gig in that he was the first. But he also was remarkable in a sense, defying the odds and hammering together a country that separatists were the Nova Scotians. There was a lot of tearing along the dotted line for the first few years of our history, or attempts to do that. A lot of people, point to Pierre Trudeau. I mean, I'm not an admirer of Trudeau, so, I mean, after 12 years of failure, he finally decided that he would patriate the Constitution. But I'm a Westerner, and I think that he left us divided and bankrupt, in my view. But for some people, he was exciting, but I think he was maybe exciting for the wrong reasons. I do give him credit for the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. I do think for all the challenges that's created, I think that was a good thing. So I give him a plus for that. But I think the excitement about politics didn't last very long. And I'm not even sure that what you want is for people to get, in an emotional frenzy. It's more the idea of kind of grown-ups running the place. And that this is an important and valuable thing to do. I'm a post-war baby boomer, so I was born after one of the worst conflagrations in human history. I mean, the European Union is a direct creation of the just terrible destruction of World War II, in the sense that people had that it just couldn't continue. In the same way, the Enlightenment was the product of the religious wars of the 16th and 17th centuries, and people just began to feel that this cannot continue. And so people began to turn to reason over sectarian association. And now, after World War II, people began to see that the pillage and the bloodshed was just something that couldn't continue. It was a threat to human society. And maybe what we lack is something that triggers a sense of immediacy and engagement. That, with the end of the Cold War, where are the enemies? Well, now Islamic fundamentalism and jihadism and terrorism, these kinds of things make us feel uneasy. But if you actually count the number of people who die from these attacks, how terrible that they are, and how insecure they make us, and how expensive they are for us to try and fend them off with all of our elaborate security measures, nonetheless, they are not anywhere on a scale of some of the disasters in the past that have really galvanized people to move beyond thinking about themselves and begin to think in a visionary way about what kind of world they want. And maybe that's part of the problem, that we've been too successful. And how do we create an understanding that the cost of liberty is eternal vigilance? Where is the issue or the idea that will get us to understand the need to commit ourselves to citizenship? It's not going to function on autopilot. It doesn't happen just, once you create the institutions. And so many things change. We have generational change in terms of technology and how people see the world, that we need to constantly renew that sense of citizenship. And that, I think, is the big challenge for leadership. I think leaders, what we need is a leader who can, articulate that and can make people feel excited about it and understand that politics, however aggravating it is and annoying it is, and, like sausage making, you don't really want to watch it, but that it is really very, very important. Again, being a post-war baby boomer, I grew up, both my parents were in uniform during the war, so I had a strong sense of what was paid to ensure that we could continue to live free. But I don't know. I think that's a challenge today, is to articulate a vision that reminds people that they need to engage. They need to engage because if they don't, it will go away. And history is replete with examples of advanced civilized societies that have degenerated into something less. And I don't think Canada's on the brink of, disaster or anything like that. It's a remarkably successful country. But each generation needs to produce leaders, needs to produce that commitment to making the democratic experiment work. And finding the imageries, finding the vision, finding the capacity to govern in a sense that's transparent and honest and inspires confidence. That's really what we need to look for in leaders. And sometimes we're lucky and they're charismatic and wow us with their rhetoric. Sometimes they're more quiet and effective. But it's creating that sense that this is something valuable, but that we need to protect. We need to stand on guard for it.